Hello everybody, nice to have you here. Today we'll talk again about Adobe App Builder extensibility in relation to Adobe Commerce and or Magento if you want to. We will talk about the price changing and the use cases which we face very often and which is very often causing the troubles or taking a lot of time to implement. It's the use cases when the prices for your products are, for example, customer specific or provided by a third-party system on the fly, so you cannot literally save them in Adobe Commerce because, as example, you have like thousands and hundreds of thousands of products and each product has several hundreds of pricing and for sure you cannot fetch them, like you cannot store them on a live and update them every hour, as example. So I'll talk today about the use cases when the prices are available outside of Adobe Commerce, and when the customer is opening your website, he first have to be able to see the prices, and the second, he have to be able to add the product to the shopping cart. And if you already follow my previous videos, you for sure can already guess that in some points it can be easy because, as example, we can use API mesh, and I will show how to do it for headless storefronts to get the price from external system and show it on the front end. But another point is how to add a product to the shopping cart with a custom price. And for sure, if you're coming from PHP world, you know that you can set custom price on the quote object or on the quote item, and in this way you're doing it. But what if you want to do it on a builder, so without touching the PHP core, and if be even more precise, what if you want to do it on SaaS environments which don't giving you the possibilities to change your core application. So let's dive in. First of all, I will send you to this documentation page which is giving the very nice example how you can do it. And it's already quite described here well. What I want to do today, I want to try it together with you and show how it works and what you need to take care about. So this product price update example is telling how we can change the product price when you add a product to the shopping cart. I want to show you the small explanation how it works. So as I said, we have two flows. First of all is to display product price on the front end. So it means deliver it to the front end from Adobe Commerce by GraphQL request. So in this case, we have API mesh. We have front end which call an API mesh and not your Adobe Commerce endpoint. API mesh has a resolver which call in the price from third-party system and then replace this price with a new price within the standard output, which means you don't need to change your storefront implementation. You can rely on standard schema and API mesh will do everything. That's one use case. Another one is the how to change price when you add a product to the shopping cart. For that, you can use the webhooks. So the webhooks are already available on the BOSS and PaaS and SaaS systems. SaaS system has interface to manage them. In PaaS, you need to manage it via the webhook XML files, but it's all described in documentation. I will attach down the video. And the webhook flows working quite easily. So when the customer try to add your product to the shopping cart, the webhook being sent to the middleware, which is fetching the price, deliver you the correct price, and then the price being added to the shopping cart already with a new value. So it means you cannot hijack it because it's happening on a background on the PHP processes. So it means if you are the front end, and that's the biggest problem usually with setting the custom fright when you're working on headless mode, because you cannot allow it to do it from the front end because you can misuse it and then just set the price you want it to. So you need the backend and secure processes to do it. So let's jump in. We have an Adobe Builder application which I prepared in advance, and you can make a new one for sure, or you can just use some existed one. So what you will need two actions. One of them is to receive and send setting price for the webhook action, and another is for API mesh. Let's start from the front end, which is quite easier, and I already touched this point several times before in my videos. So as example, we have a simple commerce shop. That's an EDS storefront, which is using standard catalog service endpoint. So it can be also the product endpoints if you're using the standard products GraphQL of Adobe Commerce, but that's not really matter because API mesh can work with any endpoint. So in our case, it's a catalog service endpoint. We deliver the price back. And as you can see, we have here price $279 for the product. Basically, for every of the product, we have some kind of price. So now what we want to do, we want to simulate that the price is coming from third-party system and display it on the front end. For that, we need API mesh. And for API mesh, I have prepared the file here. So we have a standard API mesh file with only one source. The operation header is also standard for Adobe Commerce. So that's nothing new here. What is new here is a resolver. So a resolver which have to replace our price with a new price. So and then our price resolver. The price resolver is working for simple product view. In this case, if you're using the standard Adobe Commerce products endpoint, then resolver will be for another object. So it can be anything. It can be also the complex products and so on. And then we take in we're replacing the price final amount value with the value we're receiving from our endpoint, which is our Adobe App Builder action that we deployed. So what is it doing? API mesh is calling a builder, telling give me the price for this SKU, and then the price is coming back. And then let's have a look on the action we have. We have the action for the get price. The action itself is super simple. It's just returning the value. So it's returning the new price, which is the old price, multiplied on some x. That's in our case. In your case, it can be, so as you saw here, price resolver, we send in the SKU and the price. And what are we doing? We multiply existing price twice. So we double the price. They just made, for example, for sure you can just fetch from external system the price as you want to and then deliver it per SKU. So I just made it to simplify the use case. So all prices have to be multiplied on 2. And that's our, let's say, price multiplier function, which returning here 1 at this moment, because I just wanted to show it how it works. And then after we fetch the price, we returned it for final amount value, new price. And the same for regular one. So as you saw before, we have here 279. And what we will do now, we will go to our external connector. We will change the price for 2, for example, and then we will redeploy our application. And after application has been redeployed, we can go to the storefront, we can refresh it. So, and after we refresh the page, we can see that the price double here. Okay, that's one example. Don't forget, I mean, for example, if you go to PDP page, the another endpoint being used. So you need to check different locations if you're using the different outputs. So for example, the product search, it's one endpoint of the catalog service. For product delivery, there is another one. The same can be for standard path environment. So yeah, I mean, how to change price on the front end? That's quite easy task. Mesh is your good friend. Now let's try a more complicated way. How we change price if you add a product to the shopping cart. For that, we define the another action. So first of all, we define the another action, which is get price index. No, sorry, wrong. Action price index. It's doing exactly the same as previous action may, but there's slight difference that it's work with operations. So you have here the operations and you're doing the replace of the input data with the new data. Why is it so and how to know that? I'll show you right in a moment. So first of all, let's go back to the documentation. So we need to subscribe to the webhook on Adobe Commerce. As I said before, you have two options. One is for path, is to align the webhook XML file. Another one is for SAS. It's to go to your backend and just do it straight away from there. The event we will subscribe to is sales code item set product. And that's the default payload. So what this webhook works, or how it works. So the webhooks, when this event been fired, send in the request to the builder action, and you can define which data you send it. You don't need to send everything. You define it usually, by defining the configuration. Let's do it. We are going to Adobe Commerce, webhook subscriptions. That's my SAS environment. So again, for path, you will not have it. You need to manage it with webhook XML file. And then when we edit in it, so what we define the method, which was set, and there is like a big list of other methods here. before, bunch name, product price update, hook name, URL where the webhook will be sent, timeout, some default message if it's required. And that's what I mean with the fields. So if you have a look here, you have here those fields, which the default payload of this webhook. And they're like a data, product, and then we have SKU, and we have quote item. We have like a lot of bunch of other sides. So the two main objects are still product and quote item. And here is what we define. We define our data, product, name, data, product, SKU, and data, product, price. That's only what we are sending with the webhook. So we're not sending the full body. And that's it. One more element is the authorization for developer console. And for this one, you need to create the authorization keys in your builder. I'll show you how. So after we configured our webhook, let's have a look back on our action. So that's action that's been called with the webhook. And that's what I mean with replacement. So you're replacing the fields on incoming data. You're replacing the data product price with a new price. In this case, in the quote will be added then another element with another pricing. And then that's it. It's very simple. I mean, if there are no price or there are no other updates, you have to return the success as a fallback, and then it will not do anything. If you return error, it will not proceed. You can also replace another element, like not only price, but name, for example, which you send in. So in this way, you can manipulate then the quote data that will land in your shopping cart and into your checkout in the order in the end. And yeah, after that's done, we can just go to our product. We can try to add it to the shopping cart as webhook is already configured and set up. You can see here the total price is our double price. And in this case, we can manipulate with anything. I mean, I more or less doubled it. I mean, again, the use case, you can fetch it from third-party system and set any price you want to, depends on the SKU. And now the very small fallback. It's so that's an example of the webhook XML. You're doing it in the similar manner. You're doing the sales quote item set product price update. You're defining the headers for authorization. We'll come to a second. And then you define where the fields you want to send. And that's it. The code example is also available here. It's the similar I used, just to extend it a bit with additional like parameters. And maybe the final wrapping point. So that's what we have our workspace here, production and staging. So yeah, we create our API mesh to manage everything within the same application. We have our server-to-server keys. Those you need that because you will secure your action that will deliver you the prices for sure. You don't want to have it exposed outside that the people know your price and can fetch them. So means you want to secure it. For this, you have to create our server-to-server and then define it in the webhook configuration. For that, you need to add here server-to-server credentials and then define them in your configuration. And yeah, that's it. I hope I didn't forget anything, but I mean, as I said, it's quite simple. You need literally 5-6 files to manage. One action for change pricing, one action for change pricing related to the shopping cart. Theoretically, you can merge them together in one action. You need a line app config YAML file. You need to create a mesh if you want to change pricing on the front end. If you're doing another way, you can for sure can do it another way. And that's it. I hope it was useful. These use cases we use very often in our development, and honestly, with a builder to compare to the PHP way of extending the stuff, it's much faster to implement for this particular use case. Let me know if you want to hear anything else. I will be happy to share and to record the video on these topics. And please don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment, and see you in the next videos.